ConocoPhillips' Willow Project is an oil drilling project located in Alaska's Natural Petroleum Reserve on the plain of the North Slope. The original plan was to build and operate up to 5 drill pads for a total of 250 oil wells. The Willow is crucial for both the economy of Alaska and the safety of American energy supplies. The Willow Project, situated in Alaska's Natural Petroleum Reserve, is expected to produce 180,000 barrels of oil per day at its peak, reducing America's reliance on foreign energy sources. More than 2,500 construction jobs and about 300 long-term jobs could be generated by the project. According to the estimates, Willow would emit additional 70 million metric tons of carbon dioxide in the United States and another 60 million tons abroad, which is only 0.03% of the country's emission in 2021. The project could have a negative impact on Native American communities and Arctic wildlife, producing up to 600 million barrels of oil and 287 million tons of carbon emissions over a 30-year period. The natural greenhouse effect that keeps the Earth's atmosphere above freezing would be insufficient without carbon dioxide. People are accelerating the natural greenhouse effect and raising the Earth's temperature by releasing more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. On the other hand, producing too much carbon dioxide can be harmful to all of us. Numerous health effects from CO2 exposure can be experienced. The symptoms can include coma, asphyxia, convulsions, sweating, a tingling or pins and needles sensation, headaches, dizziness, restlessness, and difficulty in breathing. Additionally, animals are affected in contrast to humans. Because vertebrates have developed acutely sensitive CO2 chemoreceptors and pH receptors, carbon dioxide is a strong respiratory stimulant that can quickly cause dyspnea, impaired breathing, also known as the air hunger, or breathlessness in animals, causing harm to wildlife as well.
The first solution is to research more about the Willow Project and what it does to our environment. By doing this, we can think of ways on how to conduct a campaign against it, all the while spread awareness.
One more way on how we can prevent the next Willow Project is to find other ways on how to get oil for future use. The government must focus on something that can give benefits to the nation. Instead of damaging the environment and ecosystem just to get the oil they want for future use, they must look for something that is better and does not harm anyone. The Willow Project will not make sense if the environment and ecosystem are already damaged and people in the future are suffering instead of enjoying themselves because they neglect to do something in the present. Another solution for how we can prevent the next Willow Project is that new energy infrastructure must align with President Biden's climate goals. This means that only climate-safe energy infrastructure that contributes little to the greenhouse gas emissions fueling the climate problem should be allowed by the Biden administration. To do this, the Council on Environmental Quality, CEQ, should incorporate the climate test into the environmental review procedures utilized by the federal agencies. CEQ should strengthen its guidance to encourage all federal agencies to use NEPA to conduct an impartial, quantitative climate test on proposed new energy infrastructure. It would support the Biden administration's whole-of-government approach to climate change by statistically demonstrating whether a project is compatible with our national climate goals.
What is the best possible solution? The best possible solution is to gather support in protest of such action. Through gathering support, we gather sympathizers to the cause and urge plenty to drive the goal of stopping the Willow Project. The Willow Project, which was signed by United States of America President Joe Biden. This is because of the reason that this project threatens to disrupt and damage the environment and ecosystem, which may very lead to the circumstance where climate change worsens, which would be inevitable should this happen. In line with this, and the course of action of gathering support, we are able to tap environmental activists and others who have and share the same goals, which is to preserve and protect the planet. Thereafter, we would then be able to take actions such as raising petitions, protesting, and making our voice heard through social media and other platforms, online and offline, and the like, to stop this project.
Additionally, this solution is the best because by gathering more sympathizers, we will be able to reach a greater vast of people to know more about the Willow Project and its dangers and thus fight against it. By doing this, it will be more efficient because it is given that the Willow Project was signed by an authority and thus we cannot just be a minority fighting against it because we won't be heard. Thus, by having more people fight against the Willow Project, there is a greater chance that we will be heard and a greater chance that it won't be pushed through.
In situations like this, it is always best to look at the long-term effects of the project instead of just the shorter ones. Think about it this way. If the project initiates, about 260 million metric tons of carbon emissions will be added to the atmosphere for the next 30 years, which is just the same as adding 2 million cars annually to the road for the next 30 years. This project will adversely affect the ecology, the fauna of the Arctic, and the locals who depend on the area for their livelihood. Although the state legislators may think that the Willow Project can actually increase domestic energy output, generate employment, and reduce Alaska's dependency on foreign oil, this still doesn't get rid of the fact that in the long run, the condition of the environment will continuously worsen due to the harmful activities and decisions that humans make. With this, a possible solution is to head to a route which intends to look for the best alternatives for the harmful activities that come along with the project, or to formally cancel the entire project before it could even begin.
One specific dilemma that has of the same nature as to the Willow Project would be the immense mining of our mountains here in Misamis Occidental, specifically the areas of Mount Malinda. We have experienced never before seen flash floods here in our very own province because of it. I know that compared to these big politicians, we are no one. But with collective voices, I know that we can be the solution. We need to be vocal in addressing these issues before it's too late. I believe that our micro efforts will have macro effects, which would be of great contribution in saving our common home, the Earth.